How was Colorado with your sister?
It was really fun. Oh my God, I didn't tell you about this. I had the craziest flight of my life.
Okay, because that was the day the tornado, that was the day that I lost my license.
Yes, that your license blew away.
Yeah. So Friday.
So Friday, my flight was set to leave at 7. I think at like 7:03 or something was takeoff. And the storm was supposed to hit at like 7:15. I don't know. Like we were cutting it so close. And the energy was very much like, all right, people, let's get this show on the road. And so we all got on the plane. The plane itself was moving because of the wind gusts. And so I was kind of freaking out. Storms make me very anxious. I am not the Midwestern girl that's I'm going to sit on the patio and watch the tornado.
You don't feeling God's wrath by a tornado?
No, I do not like that. I'm if you need me, I will be in the basement. That's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be down there with my hand crank radio and my tennis shoes on, okay?
Very anxious dog.
And my very anxious dog. And my very anxious self. We both took a trazodone.
Absolutely.
But no, so the plane takes off, horrible takeoff. And the pilot got on beforehand and was like, hey, I'm going to level with you guys. This is going to be rough.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's it's so windy here and it's windy also in Denver where we were landing. And he's we've been hearing all day that the wind is he's I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Oh. So yeah, we were okay. I'm seated in the very last row, aisle seat, very last row. My head is up against the wall.
You're that.
Yeah, and the flight attendants are back behind me in their little jump seats. And the pilot goes, flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff. Starts to accelerate on the runway, and a man stands up, walks to the back of the plane, and is I need to use the bathroom. And the flight attendants are
look around.
Sit down. Yes. They're sir, you have to sit down. And she was call the front. We need medical. We're not taking off. And then the guy goes, no, it's okay. I'll sit down. And so he goes back, he goes back and sits down. I don't know what the deal was, but he got up again and was talking to the flight attendants. So? And then, it was very odd. And he went and sat back down. But then when we landed, they were please be patient. Security is going to board the plane first. And they boarded the plane and escorted him off.
Oh my God.
It was wild. He was sitting 2 seats in front, or not 2 seats, 2 rows in front of me, diagonal across the aisle. And I was I don't know what was going on with him. He didn't do anything crazy other than almost delay our takeoff. And then also had words with the flight attendants, I guess.
Okay, well, energies were high then. Okay.
Yeah, and also it was a full flight.
Yeah.
Every single person on the plane had to use the bathroom.
Oh God.
It was I was sitting right back by the bathroom, and so there was always a line of 2 or 3 people. Man. It was the weirdest thing. I was what is going on?
And Denver's not a far flight.
No, it was 2 hours. It was the weirdest. I don't know. Okay. It doesn't sound super weird telling the story back, but experiencing it.
You ever have those interactions where you're am I crossing into different timelines right now? Did I just go through a portal to a different...
It felt like the Twilight Zone because we're on a plane. There's no windows around me, and also it was the sun had kind of set at that time. Yeah. And so it really did feel I was I'm literally just in a windowless tube and weird stuff is happening. All right, should we get this show on the road?
Let's get the show on the road. Welcome to Tell Me About It, a podcast by SLPs for everybody. I'm Francie.
And I'm Maggie.
And today we're talking about what it's like to be an SLP.
Yeah, what does the day at our job actually look like?
Mm-hmm. I realized that in past episodes we've talked a lot about theory and kind of conceptually what we target, but to be fair, I also did not realize what an SLP actually did until I started doing external placements in grad school. So let's talk about what therapy actually looks like and how we target the things that we do and what a day looks like in the schools.
Yeah. So just a rundown of both of our current positions. We are SLPs at an elementary school that is in a rural area. So as far as SLPs go, we have relatively small caseloads.
I would agree with that. I feel very fortunate to only have, I think, in total, improvement plans, RTI kids and IEP, I only think we have about 30 kids apiece.
Yeah, it's around there.
It's really low, which is I am so grateful for.
Yes. So I've heard stories about SLPs that have upwards of 70 kids on their caseload. And frankly, I don't know how that's possible. Like we have 30.
We have 30-ish, half of which are very high support.
That is true.
So if we had...
Oh, so that's another thing that's kind of unique about our jobs is we have one of the district classrooms. So like basically kids that qualify for the services in this classroom, no matter where they're like zoned to go, they can come to this school to receive those services. So it's like a district-wide
the highest level support special education that you can have in the public schools without having to be transferred to a different like private location.
Yep, exactly.
And so we work with kids who have high support disabilities, and they make up about a half of our caseload. And then the other half are kids who have other lower support disabilities, language disorders, ADHD.
Yeah, and so like a handful of speech-only kids. Yeah. So even though our caseloads are relatively small,
minute-wise, we are
minute-wise, I feel like we're good. Like, well, I don't know. We do. I think that if you had a bigger caseload, you would just have to have bigger groups.
I would agree with that. I have a lot of, and that's the problem that you run into with scheduling, specifically working with high disability or high support disability kids.
Yes.
Is that you can't always put them in groups.
No.
It's honestly best to be one-on-one. And so that is one of the reasons why I don't have more groups, is because I do have a group of 2 of my higher support kids together. And I feel like a circus.
It is.
I am fighting for my life in that session.
Yes.
And it's a great time and we all have fun.
Yeah.
But wow.
Yep. Data, who is she? Like we're not writing anything
I am
down.
like panic writing. I'm writing on my legs.
Yes. It's like something like on your hand, the palm of your hand. Yeah, really. Yeah, that is usually what it's like. I think my biggest group right now, I had a group before and I split it up because...
And they were speech onlys, right?
Yes. Okay. They were my speech only kids, but they were working on different sounds. So I split them up because some of the kids were ready to advance and the other kids were not. They needed like kind of some more time at the level we were at. So I split them up to just make it a little bit easier.
Absolutely. My biggest group is 3 right now. And it's a mixed group because I have 1 working on language and 2 working on speech. So that does...
I have that, but flipped. 2 language, 1 speech.
That's funny. And so that will also, talking about kind of what the day looks like. When you have mixed groups like that, it's challenging, but not, if you're careful enough in your planning, you can pick activities. But if you have a group of kids and they're not all working on the same thing, that is something you have to consider.
Maybe we can also get into some of our favorite like open-ended therapy like materials and games and stuff, because we both have kind of like a
bag of tricks.
Yeah, like a starter. What is it like in basketball when you have like a starting
like your
team?
starting lineup or whatever?
Yeah, starting lineup of like
of therapy materials.
Yes, and then if I'm like digging into the like second string, I'm like, all right, we're bored with. We played Chutes and Ladders 800 million times this year. What else can we play?
Absolutely. So we'll talk about materials later. But what does a day usually look like for us?
Yeah,
you and I, we both. I get to school earlier than my contract time because I am type A-, where I'm willing to come early, but I'm not willing to stay late.
Yeah.
But so I come in a little early. I will try to do, if I'm like on my best behavior, I will try to get the day before documentation done. So for SLPs, as SLPs, we bill Medicaid in the schools to get compensation for our services.
And not every SLP
SLP does.
But in our district,
we do.
Yeah.
Bill Medicaid for reimbursement of our services. And so I will come in, I'll try to do my Medicaid billing before school, and then I'll usually build my schedule for the day. I know who I'm going to see because I've got my schedule set, but like I'll pick our therapy activities, what goals I want to target, usually that morning before the day kicks off. And I know some people who like to do theirs like planning like weeks in advance. Could not be me.
No, and I think that at least for me, like stuff can change really quickly.
Things can change in a session.
Yes. And so planning that far in advance, I don't like to rely on, because I feel like, if I made a plan for a kid 3 weeks ago and then a bunch of stuff happened in those 3 weeks, like maybe they were sick for a week of that and they're out and we didn't get to, it's just like, I like to be more flexible than that.
Absolutely.
So I usually also plan morning of, and again, that is like, all right, get in like, who am I seeing today? What did we work on last time? What are some games that they like and enjoy? What's maybe something we haven't done in a while?
And also kind of talking about like more of like what we do, what games would be best to target what things, if that makes sense. Like there are some games that are better at targeting certain language skills than others.
Yeah.
And that's also takes a little bit of clever planning.
And we have some board games that are they're made by like Super Duper, which is like a speech and language therapy materials company.
Unfortunately, none of my kids are super interested in the like super niched games.
Yeah, I use one. It's called Go for the Dough, and the concept is basically like a Candyland or like Chutes and Ladders type concept where it's like very open-ended. There's like minimal rules.
Yep.
But it comes with a bunch of like a stack of cards that are like has like categories or like synonyms or whatever. So that makes it a little bit easier from a planning standpoint of like, oh, I don't have to like have a list of words pre-prepared or like in the moment come up with a bunch of words, which also happens sometimes. So that is kind of nice, but I also like, I use it in a lot of like off-label ways where it's like,
I don't think I've ever followed the rules of a board game once in my practice.
And I tell kids that I'm like, these are the speech room rules. And so like, if you play this differently at home, that's great. I don't want to hear about it.
I have 2 Uno decks. I have one heavily modified Uno deck. I've removed all of the special cards that I use just for numbers. Speech only. Yeah, to just numbers to do speech only stuff. And then I have a regular Uno deck if I have a little bit more time. Yes. But if I am trying to like move through like high repetition speech sessions, I am pulling out the modified Uno deck.
Oh yeah, I used that for probably about a year. I had like an Uno deck that before I went in to see my like speech only kids, I would literally just take the top half of the deck and remove all the specialty cards and stick them at the bottom.
Yeah.
And it kind of took a while for them to be like, why are there no? Because we weren't playing Uno either. I was just like, it would be like ooh, what's your next card gonna be? And that worked for a lot of kids. They know how school works. They know that they're supposed to like do academic tasks, and so it doesn't have to be that complicated. So anyway, you get there in the morning. I do not get there before contract time.
I can't blame you.
I just am like not about that life.
No.
I try to, and like even if I have to take work home, I'm more willing to do that than to get there like super early.
Yeah, no, I get to the school at 7:40. I sit in my car for 15 minutes and I drink my coffee and I get myself in a headspace. And I know that other people are now aware of that because the other day our principal was like, knock, knock, knock. Hey girl, are you ever coming in this building? She was like, you've been doing this for 3 years. What do you do out here in the morning?
You're like, this is my...
I sit.
This is my solace.
This is my solace time. I sit in the sunlight. I let the sunlight go directly into my eyeballs because I'm in the parking lot. And I get myself in the right headspace to go be a circus for children.
Yep.
And she was like, I always wondered. It's just me in my car drinking coffee. But I do that. Yeah. I'll come in at 7:50. 5-ish, and our contract time doesn't start till like 8:15. But that's the time that I will go do it because I am the opposite. If I take work home, it's not getting done.
It's not getting done. That's fair. And sometimes I do take work home and it doesn't get done. And then I wind up in a position like I'm in now where I'm super behind on documentation. And that's unfortunate for me.
Yes.
But it is also a consequence of my own actions. So
yes. So from there, I'll pick activities. So I will look at our kids' goals and for what that actually looks like with treating language disorders. During our evaluation process, usually I'll try to highlight some areas from the self or wherever. And if they've been years since we've done that, I'll just look at kind of where we've been progress-wise and kind of track it that way.
Yeah, like a language evaluation of some kind.
Yeah.
Or just like what they've done.
Yeah, what areas of language do they struggle with? And let's write some goals to target that. So I have kids who have, vocabulary weaknesses, and we're working on semantic mapping and making sure that their vocabulary is bigger and easy to access in their brain. I have kids who are working on syntax and like, how do you order words together? Do they have subject-verb agreement? So targeting tasks that work on like heavy grammar, responding to WH questions. I have a lot of WH question kids right now.
I do too. Yeah. And I think that like, it is definitely more common in younger kids, but also like it's especially common in kids with language disorders.
Yeah.
And I think this one can be confusing for a lot of adults because you're thinking to yourself like, okay, this is a simple question. And you say like, what were you doing? Or like,
this is my favorite example that you give. This is my favorite. The what do you think you're doing is my favorite example that you have ever told me.
Yeah. That is a really hard question for kids. But even just like oh, who is that? If like I've had students where like if you say who is that and you show them a picture of like their teacher or like a fireman or something, they'll answer with like if you showed them a picture of their teacher, they might say school, you know, because they don't understand what the word who means, and that you're looking for a person. And so that's something that like I have a group right now where we're like, I'm going through each WH word, like who, what, when, where, why, how. Did I already say when? Yes. and talking about like, okay, what does this mean when you hear the word when? They're looking for a time.
Yes.
So
I'm doing this with one of my AAC users right now in our functional academics classroom, where we're talking specifically about, you know, what questions are asking for more information. I have it worded a little differently, but like, who is a person? Where is a location? Like, when you're asking a question, what are you looking for? Are you looking for these things? And because he's differentiating between the WH questions, because he will just sign or AAC what for everything.
For everything. Yeah. And it's interesting which ones kids will have like a good hold on. Usually what is pretty concrete because you're looking for most of the time a noun or a verb, a person, place, or thing, or an action. And so that's usually where I start with it. But then things like who, that's a little bit more. When is really hard. So why, I don't even target until they've got all the other ones. Why is not. No, we're not working on that until we have who, what, when, and where. Or how. Like we're not, that's down the line, just because it can be very abstract.
Yes. So when people ask us kind of like, what do we do in a day? So much of what we do is the like really nitpicky inner workings of language.
Yes.
And kind of the things that other people don't often think about when it comes to language, because language is in everything.
Yes.
And so your our little tangent into WH questions perfectly describes that. If you don't know that first question and what that's asking, you're not going to understand the rest of it.
Yeah.
And for some of our kids, it's their brains don't have that skill unlocked yet.
Yeah. And it also depends on like the type of error that they make. Because if you show them a picture of their teacher and say, who is that? And they say school, you're like, okay, we're in the same ballpark.
Family. Yeah, our categories is kind of okay.
Yes, but if you show them a picture of their teacher and say, who is that? And they say mom, that's a different type of error that gives you a different set of information about like what is going on inside of their head.
Absolutely.
And so I don't know, this kind of thing, like this is how I know I'm like a super language nerd. Because that kind of thing is really exciting to me, of like, ooh, I asked you a different type of question, or I worded it differently. And I got
this result.
Yep. And all of that is just like data that helps us help them.
And there's the pathology part of our job. Is parsing through the data to kind of come to conclusions about what's truly going on with their language.
Yes.
I love this part of our job. And for example, I have a kiddo who is going through the diagnostic process right now. And we're trying to figure out, they present without the morphological endings, and so they aren't adding the tense markers or any type of like grammatical markers to ends of words. So like
just for verb tense, or like any grammatical marker?
Mostly verb tense.
Okay.
Instead of like he takes it, he'll say like, oh, he take it.
Okay.
But he also has a co-occurring speech disorder, and so I'm trying to parse through right now, are we not adding the sounds to the ends of words because we have a language issue and our brains don't have the grammar part good, or do we have
the grammar part
good? Let me tell you, I am nothing if not oxymoronical, okay?
I love it.
Is the grammar part intact?
Yes.
Or is it the speech part where their brains are not hearing that sound from the speech standpoint and not the language standpoint? And that's also kind of fun. It's a little like parse through.
And most of the time, I had this professor in school that used to say like, the kids don't read our textbooks. So like most of the time, it's not just one thing. It's actually a bunch of stuff.
So much.
And it can be a bunch of stuff that's not pathology either. So like sometimes, especially with like vocab or who, what, like WH questions, they might just not know what that thing is called. And so they like, it's not that they can't answer WH questions, it's that they don't have the vocabulary for it.
Yes.
And sometimes that's part of the pathology of like, they have a harder time learning words. They need to hear it a lot more before they can actually use it correctly. And sometimes it's just, we have not been exposed to this concept. Like they have just never interacted with that thing before. They don't know what it's called.
No, or even going through the pathology like tract a little bit more. a great example is trying to figure out if it's dialect or disorder. I have a kiddo right now who uses them for everything. Them are doing the thing.
Yeah.
But we also work in rural Missouri, and that's not entirely like my aunt and uncle do that. Like,
yes,
that's a convention that I hear in the Missouri rural dialect sometimes. So I'm like, I don't know if I should treat this.
For sure. There is some stuff like that I just kind of leave it alone.
I know. For this kid in particular, he knows the difference. And when I like prompt him, he can fix it. But I think at this point it's dialectal. And so there's no need to really go through and treat that. But once again, the pathology part of that is figuring out, does his family talk like this? Is this something that his siblings do? Is this generalized over into other pronouns? And he uses the appropriate objective versus subjective pronoun in every other case except for them.
Yeah. Then that to me would tell me it's dialectical.
That's where
I would just leave it alone.
That is exactly where I'm at with this. And so that's, I love the pathology part of this job. So much of what we do is pathology on the fly.
On the fly.
Yes.
Of like, because you can get a ton of information in a kid's like initial evaluation, but their like paperwork can look totally different than the actual student.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. Like the student is a full-blown person and the paperwork is just like, this is the data we captured on this student on that day that we did the test. And so it tells you a lot, but it doesn't tell you everything. And I think you and I have both had scenarios where we get paperwork in for a new student. We're kind of reading through and we're like, okay, I think I understand like kind of what we're going to work on. I've got my stuff ready. And then the kid comes into your therapy room and you're like, never mind, scrap all of that. We're doing improv now. and it just turns into like, okay.
I'm
like,
pulling things. I'm Googling things. Like,
yes,
kind of like.
Absolutely. And so that's kind of a fun part too. I feel like you do have to be kind of quick on your feet for this job just like you need to be flexible and you need to be ready to like.
And you got to be creative. You got to be creative because there's so many things that I have turned into a therapy activity.
Yes.
Just for the sake of like a child's interests.
Yep.
I have a student who loves weddings and she loves my wedding photos.
Yeah.
And when I tell you we've been rocking with wedding photos as a therapy activity.
Perfect.
For months at this point because it gets her to talk. And in that I'm able to target carrier phrases with multisyllabic word endings. Like that's been her big thing is making sure that we have a really strong carrier phrase. And then she's a little mush mouthy. And so we're working on articulating all of our syllables. And that's a great activity to target that task. And
absolutely,
in and of itself, you wouldn't think about like, oh, what's a great language task? Looking
at
my wedding photos.
Right. Yeah.
But that's what we get to do. It's awesome to work on descriptions. And one of the things that she's also working on is describing the differences, similarities and differences between things. And so I have a lot of duplicate photos throughout that. So she's able to go through and say like, oh, these two photos are the same. These are different. And so, therapy comes from anywhere. But a lot of that happens on the fly. And the wedding photo task came about because I was like, oh, we still have 15 minutes left in this session and I'm out of stuff.
Like we already did the game I planned twice. So let's think of a new thing to do. Yeah. Yes, that will happen. Learning how to like time activities.
Oh God.
In grad school, I had such a hard time making an activity stretch for 50 minutes. And now I have a hard time getting through, and my sessions are shorter now. Usually we pull kids for 30-minute blocks. But like I have a hard time getting through one activity in 30 minutes with them. And I think just part of that is like my skill has grown. And so
I feel comfortable with timing and like,
but yeah, even like kids that I see outside of school for a whole hour, I can sometimes bring one activity and make it stretch for an entire hour or do like two activities for like 30-minute chunks. It depends on what you're working on.
It just depends. But
what
are your favorite things to work on? What are your favorite, like,
oh my gosh,
what are your favorite things to target as a speech language pathologist?
I'm a big like language girly. I really like speech is fun and it can be really straightforward. Language is more complex and you can do a lot more with it because language like touches everything. And so I think, I don't know, within language though, early language, like early childhood is definitely like my favorite. Like, but I don't know. I love my big kids too. And something that I really enjoyed this year is I was telling you, you walked into my office and I had a bunch of prefixes and suffixes written out on the board. And I was like, I'm just an English teacher now. But like, I really feel like that sometimes like I'll pull a nonfiction passage or a storybook or something, and like we read through the book together, and then we do comprehension questions, and I explicitly teach how to make inferences and predictions, inferences and predictions, and how to look back in the text to find like information for comprehension questions and stuff, because that's all things that like does not come naturally to our students. Yeah. So I don't know. I think language, as broad as that is
as broad
my favorite.
as that is. No, I get that.
But yeah, what is your favorite thing?
I have a couple things actually. So I love to have a good solid speech session, because I feel like those are a little bit easier, just from an administration standpoint of like if I'm administering or like directing this task, it's a little bit easier. So I like to have a speech task throughout the day where I have like, oh, this is a good little breather session between like some of my higher support kids. I love early language. I love functional language. I love a good play-based therapy session, and I feel very fortunate that in the schools that's not something that is really like a really common therapy model. But I feel very fortunate that we get to do that just due to the nature of the school that we're at.
Definitely, yeah.
And so I love to create play-based therapy around the interests of our kids. And so even if that's sometimes me being like, what do you like? I don't know. Yeah. And that's the fun of it. I love a good imaginative play session. And you can target anything with play. One of my most like thinking about this year, and like one of my most favorite therapy sessions I've done was I have a really imaginative kiddo who's working on syntax. And the whole session we spent building a kinetic sand like castle, and did a great job at working on just the like subject verb object like sentence construction. Oh, he is building, it is falling, and like spent the whole session doing that because he was not at the beginning of the session, but he was through enough modeling like at the end. So I love something that like doesn't look like therapy.
Yes.
Oftentimes if an administrator walks in and they're like, are you just playing? The short answer is yes. The longer answer is no. And so yeah, I feel like children often learn best. Some of my most favorite sessions are also like, well, you guys are out having an extra recess, so I'll just tag along, like let's all play together kind of situation. I love speech on the playground. Or language on the playground. But I also love a good like direct teaching session about things that are very, very technical. I love teaching word associations. I love working on categories. I love working on similarities and differences. I love talking about like just building that semantic map for kids, because it's so fun to watch them get creative with it too, and like have fun. Oftentimes, obviously everything is gamified. And so, you know, setting a little timer, how many things can you name of this category in a minute, or you know, how do these things connect? It's so much fun. That's one of my favorite, like if I'm directly teaching things, I love to do vocab and I love to do semantics, like semantic associations. So
yeah, it really is fun. And I feel like something that you do really well as a therapist is like using whatever the kid is currently doing. Like I feel like I'm a little bit more likely than you to like pull them and sit down in the speech room, or I maybe I just like to have like more control over what it is that we're doing.
That is a comment I got from our principal, was like, hey, behavior management, not your thing. And I'm like, I know that.
I know.
Because there's a lot of like chaos around me during therapy, I feel like, but I feel like the kids have a lot of fun.
Is it chaos or is it fun?
It's fun. That's the problem. It's point blank fun. It just looks like chaos. Because school settings are also so very regimented. I don't have a very regimented therapy room. But I'll do Pokemon flavored articulation tasks. Sure. I'll do that. Yeah, you want to describe, I have a kiddo who's obsessed with Minecraft, and he's also working on maintaining grammatical accuracy across multiple utterances. Tell me all the lore about Minecraft. I'll listen. Let's do it.
When my kids get up to conversation level for like fluency, or for their speech sound, or for a grammatical thing or whatever, I know so much about Five Nights at Freddy's. I was gonna say Mario. What's the other big one? Roblox and Minecraft. I didn't know that these games had lore, and now I know all of the lore. So you kind of get like, when the kids talk about what they're passionate about, it's really fun, and they're still super engaged, because they're talking about something that they love.
Absolutely.
And then I get to learn something new, even though it's about Minecraft or whatever. But it's okay. Like, I feel like I have like kind of a working knowledge of a bunch of like kid stuff now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Which is fun.
It is a lot of fun, and it's fun to see the kids get passionate.
Yes.
And then one of my, and I know this is true for you as well, one of my biggest tenets of therapy is that rapport is the basis for everything.
Yes.
A very strong therapeutic relationship will take you so much farther than the quality of your therapy sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and I think especially working with children, because adults and older kids too, like you don't really have to build as much rapport. You don't have to. I still think that you should, but like you don't have to, because older people understand like what the therapeutic purpose is of like what you're doing.
It's much more, it's a little bit more transactional. Like they know that they're getting something out of this.
Yep.
And for some of our kids, it's still kind of confusing as to why you see this random strange lady.
Yep. They're like, what? A lot of people, I don't know. Some of our kids, I don't think fully understand who we are and why they come to see us.
Oh no, I very much had that moment where I was like, oh, I need to explain to you. I had a group of kids. I see a group of boys. And they were like, why does this person come 3 times a week, but I only come 2 times a week? And I was like, I now have to explain to you what IEPs are and how we determine your service minutes in the most kid-friendly ways.
Yeah, I usually am just like, oh, like, you know, me and your parents and your teacher got together and we decided that you should come and see me until you don't need to come and see me anymore, or something like that. It depends on like the age of the kid. But, and also kids like, I don't know. I think that kids learn best when they are comfortable, when they feel comfortable and safe.
Yeah.
Even if it's not fun all the time, because like
it's still work.
Right. It's still work. And especially for them, like they are with us doing something that's difficult for them.
Absolutely.
And so that like, that's hard, and they get frustrated, they get disappointed in themselves. And but if they like trust you and feel safe around you, feel safe to make mistakes and know that they're not going to get in trouble, that they're not going to get yelled at, like it's really, that can take you really very far. Even if you're doing something that's very like structured tabletop tasks.
And that rapport will help take you through those moments of disappointment so much easier. To know that the speech room or the therapy room is such a safe place to make mistakes. Like, I can't tell you how many times a week I say like, hey, we're in here to be learning. Like, that's okay.
Yes.
Like, that's fine that you didn't know this. That's why we're here together.
Yeah. I try to point out mistakes that I make too.
All the time. Let me tell you, if there's one thing I'm gonna do, it's goof up in front of a kid. Nothing makes them feel more validated than when I'm a silly goose.
Yeah. I remember one time I got distracted by something. I think I usually wear a smartwatch at school, and I got a text on my watch that distracted me for a second. I read the first few lines of it, and then I tried to, while I was processing the information from the text, give them a direction. And I don't think what came out was even like a fully formed sentence. And the kid literally looked at me and was like, what? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, you know what? I was not paying attention to my work, or like, I just got really distracted. Let me try that again. And I hope that helps them feel more comfortable. And on top of that, like, it's not just about, I don't know, rapport building to me isn't just about like the kid liking you. It is about that like safety and trust.
It's about true connection. It's not like, you don't have to like me, but I do want you to trust me. And like the liking and the fun will come later, but like I want to make sure you feel safe with me. Because it is a really vulnerable situation.
And especially with like language.
Oh my gosh.
They have to talk to do, or like communicate in some way. Like they have to be signing, using their AAC, talking, whatever. And if they want nothing to do with you and also think that you're gonna be mean to them, they're not gonna talk to you, and then you can't force them to speak, you know? So
it was in the early days of working with one student in particular comes to mind with this, and it took me like a solid year to build rapport with her. The first like 3 weeks that I worked with her, she would grab whatever was around us and build a wall between us.
And some kids, you get that student and like you are not their cup of tea. Like they don't like you, they don't want to be there. And I do try, like sometimes it does turn into like drop everything and make friends with this kid time, because otherwise they're going to hide under the table for 30 minutes, and then you have to force them to get out and back to class.
And nobody's having a good time there.
Nobody's having a good time, and nobody's making progress. No. Yeah, you ever gotten into a power struggle with a 5-year-old?
And it's embarrassing for you.
Nobody wins.
No,
in that
just
situation.
Having this conversation with another one of my friends who works in education, which is like, at what point in time do you just like lay the power struggle down, because really it's not that deep? And also, it's embarrassing for me to be beefing with a 7-year-old.
Oh, like, yes. Yeah. That's the thing. I feel like a lot of adults it's not that they want to do the power struggle, but it's like they're trying to enforce that natural hierarchy of like adults are in charge.
Me. Yeah.
Or even just like adults have the control and kids do not have the control.
Absolutely.
And that is appropriate most of the time because children are new.
They're new here.
They just got here. And they don't know how to do everything. So like kids don't get to be driving the bus, but the kids are still on the bus.
They're still on the bus. And for me in my specific like therapy practice, you get so much of the rigidity in the classroom because you have 20 kids.
Ton of them.
Yeah, you have a ton of kids. It's unique to come to the speech room, and so I want you to still respect me, but I feel like I can get that respect through rapport and not through like being authoritative.
Yes,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that is. I think that's another, and I feel like such a boomer when I say this, but like genuinely, kids like do not respect adults the way that I remember.
To be fair, this new breed of children is
Gen
different.
Alpha and young Gen Z are something else, girl.
Yeah,
like
I can't tell you how many times I have been called bruh in my lifetime.
Yes,
which is just funny to me. But anyways,
yeah. And like I am like a old Gen Z who was socialized as a millennial because they didn't invent Gen Z until I was. I am because they didn't name Gen Z until I was already in college.
No, I get that. I'm Gen Z, but I grew up in rural Missouri, which means that I'm just a millennial. Like,
yeah, it took a while for Gen Z to like trickle down.
Yeah, no, I still had dial up until the age of like 7. So like, it's fine.
But like my Gen X parents really like jump out sometimes working with kids, and sometimes they are openly disrespectful.
Yes,
and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel
you get the eye twitch.
Yes. I'm like, whoa. But yeah, they really like, I think it is just a cultural shift. And like, I don't know, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
For better or for worse, it's happening.
For better or for worse, it's happening. But yeah, instead of fighting for respect through power struggles, which is gonna get you nowhere, by the way,
except embarrassed and also bested by a child.
Yeah, and destroy any therapeutic relationship that you have. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One way to do that is to just like just be a safe person for them to be around, and they will at least like you, even if they don't. Even if that like respect, as we traditionally believe it to be, is not there. No. But yeah, okay, we are still stalled in the early morning pre-contract hour time.
That's true.
Because we started yapping about
it. To be fair, when I think about the kids who I see in the morning, that is the conversation that is most applicable with the trust, because I do see some of my more, even if they're not high support disability, hands-on like therapy kids who just like who need a little extra love.
Yep.
So after I see those kiddos, I take a lunch.
Nice.
I make sure young SLPs, you schedule a lunch for yourself. You didn't.
My first year, I only had like a designated lunchtime twice a week.
Yeah,
which was idiotic.
Yeah,
I don't know, because then you're hangry too.
Yes.
And like,
I can't tell you how many times halfway through the day, regardless of what happened in the morning, like sometimes I'm like, I need to go touch the grass and like I need to reset myself.
What did you say the other day?
Oh,
I'm going to Wendy's for a Diet Coke and an attitude adjustment. And I was
exactly what I said.
That's so real.
I had a session where I have a kiddo who I truly just love and adore, and he was having a hard day, and it really put the strain on that relationship. But we got through the rest of the day, and by the time I was done with that session, I was like, if I'm gonna go see more children this afternoon, I need to go fix myself.
Yeah, because if I have to be nice to kids, much less adults, for the rest of the day, I gotta go caffeine and a break.
So I went to the Wendy's down the street from the school. I got myself a Diet Coke and a chicken sandwich, and morale was much higher. Stared to the middle distance for a little bit and reset myself. Because you do have those, regardless of the amount of trust and rapport, sometimes you just have those sessions where sometimes it's a full moon and the kids are all like little werewolves, and what's happening? Why are they climbing the walls? I don't know. That's what was happening.
Literally climbing the walls.
That was happening in this particular session where I was like, hey buddy, I need you to get off the table. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And it's how
did you get up there so fast? Like,
I did not see that coming. Yeah. And then like, even with kids that you've worked with for a really long time, sometimes they just have a tough day.
They're people too.
They are also people.
And they're people with at least 15 years less experience than me.
Yes.
And so they're new to this life thing, and life's hard and it's confusing, and so gotta give them grace. But I bottle that up and I go take it out of my Diet Coke at lunch.
Yeah. I think I will say, like, speaking to the scheduling piece a little bit, even though our caseloads are relatively small, we are still back to back most days. So like I get in right at contract time, but I still have a little bit of time before I need to like go and be in front of kids. Because the kids are getting off the bus, they're getting settled in their classrooms, they're eating breakfast, you know. So I'll put my schedule together and then go, we do morning meeting as a school. So like we got assigned, this is another thing. As SLPs in a school, you will often get assigned jobs that are not speech pathology.
Yes, you do have extra duties. You and I rock it at bus time.
Oh yeah, we have bus duty in the afternoon. And it's just kind of like part of the job and part of being in the school environment. I think our principal is really good about being respectful of like
absolutely
our therapy time and what we actually need to do in our jobs.
And I love that.
But we do get asked to do
other things.
Stuff. Yeah. And so like morning meeting is kind of one of those things where we'll like go into a classroom and just kind of be
an adult
in the room. And that is kind of fun because you get to build relationships with kids that aren't on your caseload too.
I agree.
And kind of get to be a part of the school community a little bit more. Which is good because most kids do not come to see us. So
no, actually, I've made the stark realization that I am we mentioned bus duty earlier. I am the person who holds the sign at the buses. They're like, oh my God, there's that lady who holds the sign at buses.
Yes,
ignoring the fact that I have a whole other career at this school that I do.
Yeah, but they don't know that because they don't come to your speech room.
Come to my speech room, so they don't know why I'm here. Other than like what you see me do is hold the bus sign. So like. This is part of it.
Yeah, and that's okay. But yeah, so we'll do that. And then I, from there, launch into seeing students. And I like have back to back, like 30 minute sessions with like maybe there will be an occasional like 15 minute.
I have a scheduled bathroom break mid-morning and then mid-afternoon because I know myself and I will throw off my scheduling for the rest of the day if I do not have a scheduled break.
And that's the other thing about like if you are scheduled back to back, it's like a doctor's office where like if one thing runs late, then the rest of your day is going to be late. Yeah. And I have had a bathroom break throw off the rest of my day where I'm just like I'm
now 5 minutes late for everybody.
Yeah. And so it like I am a pretty introverted person. And I need some like decompressed time and time away from people. And that's really hard to do in a job where your job is people and not just people, but like to talk to people.
Oh, it is so deeply connected with people. Like you have to be on the whole time.
Yes.
One of my favorite things that you do is you're like, I'm going to go have enrichment time in my enclosure. And then you go eat lunch in your office by yourself.
I eat lunch by myself.
Love that for you, girl.
I have to. And like as much as I enjoy my other friends at the school and like to be around them and like decompress, like
it goes back to the emotional support Diet Coke. Like sometimes you have to get yourself ready to see the rest of your day.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, no, I need to scroll on my phone in silence actually for the next 20 minutes. Like I can't be with you right now. It is also nice. I think this came up more last year, but we still do it. Like at the end of the day, we'll like drop off our very last kid before we go to buses. And I'm like, sorry, you're the first adult I've spoken to since 8:30.
We have the 3:15 recap. Like we call it a department meeting. It's the 3:15 department meeting. The department being
the speech therapy department of 2 people. Yeah, exactly.
We just recap our day because oftentimes I just started this year eating lunch with other adults because I'm now at the point where I don't feel like I'm bogged down by lunchtime and feel like I have to like sit in silence because I am that way to a certain extent. And so this is the first year that I've been like, no, I have the stamina to like interact over lunch now.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, for those first 2 years, you were the first adult I talked to at like 3:15.
Yeah. Like you get through like 6.5 hours of only speaking to children. And having to be like on and in charge that whole time.
Oh, and then on top of all of that, you're doing the pathologizing part. And so you're also thinking about everything that they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, both physically, emotionally, and cognitively kind of taxing job sometimes.
It is, yeah.
So we have talked about this before where we're like, yep, some kids are just like a whole body experience. Like at that therapy session was like a whole body thing where you're like, why am I sweaty now?
Why am I sweaty?
I don't know.
I've had my watch clock therapy session as a workout before.
Absolutely.
Like especially like a play-based. It really was like, congrats on your 20-minute cardio. I was like, oh my God.
I was chasing a child for 20 minutes.
I was chasing a first grader around the room. Yeah. And like it's very, it's a lot. And I do envy, not to say that like jobs in corporate America aren't hard, but I envy.
They're hard in different ways.
I envy the like, sometimes you can just like sit down and like not talk to anybody for a minute.
Because that's not us.
No. And that is also just like a personal, I know a lot of like, this is a really extroverted job and like jokes on me, I'm not an extrovert, but like I can fake it for a really long time.
I love that.
And I love what I do. Like I love actually like being in with the kids and like spending time. Yeah. And we both have this app, the little Finch Care app, the like little self-care bird thing that you take care of. One of my goals is like, it's just like a sweet little self-care goal of like do one thing that makes me happy. And so many times, most of the time I'll like at the end of the day be like, okay, what made me happy today? And then like check it off that way. So many times it's my students. Like I'll be like, this session was so fun. I thoroughly enjoyed myself the entire time. Like that made me happy.
That made me so happy. There's so many times where I'm like busting down your door to be like, let me tell you about this awesome thing that happened, or like, let me tell you about this funny thing that happened. Because gosh, kids say the darndest things, and they really do. So much fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I talking a little bit about scheduling too, kind of thinking about like what my day is structured. I will sometimes put my higher support kids in the morning, both for my fatigue purposes and also for theirs. Fatigue and for theirs.
Yeah.
For some of our kids with medical complexities, morning time, they get tired. Yeah. And so sometimes I'm going to see you in the morning when I know your attitude's going to be the best. I do see one of our kiddos who is higher support in the afternoon, and he's one of my last ones. And by the end of it, it shows because he's like, I'm in a bad mood. And I'm like, I see that, buddy.
Yeah, you're like, me too, kid.
Me too, kid. I'm also tired and want to go home. I usually schedule some of my like, once again, speech sessions are a little bit easier. I'll try to schedule those sometimes in the afternoon. It also just depends on what that grade level is doing, because that determines a lot of my schedule.
Yes, scheduling is 100% my least favorite part of this job.
It's the worst game of Tetris ever.
It's horrible. Yeah. And then like once you get it set, if one thing happens, it's like the whole house of cards falls down.
Seriously.
Like I feel like it's less like Tetris and more like Jenga.
Oh, that's a much better analogy.
You're like, as soon as one thing gets wobbled a little bit too much, it's like the whole thing comes crashing down. You got to start over.
Yeah.
Because we're working off of like what works for our schedules, what works for the students on our caseload. Because there's some stuff that we like really can't pull them out of, or like really shouldn't. But then there's also like, well, who do they work well in a group with? And like there's
a lot that goes into it.
There's a lot that goes into it. It is the worst. I hate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate it so much. And I complain about it the whole time.
Oh yeah,
like when we're scheduling,
you and I are the last ones at the school to make our schedules, because usually or classroom sets theirs, sped sets theirs, and then we set ours around all three of those. And it is always bonkers.
Yep,
it's always bonkers.
We spend like the first week of the school year doing it. Yeah, and it's
a wreck. And you want to know what?
And I complain about it the whole
time. I am at spring break now. Do I have the same schedule that I had at the beginning of this year? No, I do not.
No, not even kind of.
No, it doesn't resemble it actually at all.
I was like, who was that? Yeah.
I don't know.
Not me. So it's I think like to sum up our day, we do a lot of like language and speech activities. So we'll like pick a goal, pick something that they need to work on, and then pick an activity that can go with it.
Yeah.
Do a lot of direct teaching of like linguistic concepts and of like how to make speech sounds. We are back to back with a few interspersed breaks, or like I have this weird situation where like I have a weird gap that I cannot fill because like everybody's at lunch or everybody's at
doing specials or recess,
or like something that I can't pull them out of. So like on Mondays I have this weird block in the afternoon that I like can't seem to put anything in. So then I usually just like use that time to do paperwork or something. But yeah, we're like back to back. It's very people forward, very kid centric. And then we also do like other little school stuff
Things
throughout the day.
during the
Like
day.
we have like bus duty and like morning meeting and that kind of thing. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. There's something you said to me, I think it was earlier last semester, where it was like, our job is not always fun, but it is never boring. There are points in this job that aren't fun. I'll say it, but it is never boring.
It's never boring. There's always something going on. For better, for worse.
For better, for worse. Here we are, having a great time. For the most part.
Okay, so what are your like go-to?
Yeah.
Should we do like top 5?
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
desert island
let me tell
materials.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. What are yours?
My top 5 go-to speech therapy activities or language therapy activities that I know for a fact I will be able to like at least get data taken. Because throughout all of these sessions too, we're also writing down success rates.
Allegedly. My data. Yeah.
She could have been better this year. I will
try
say.
to set specific like days where I'll be like, okay, this is the day-to-day.
Yes.
And I don't do it. I do it almost every day, like at least a couple times a week.
I collect data neurotically. Like I am not well when it comes to data collection because I do it daily.
Yeah.
But that's just because I do have those days where like nothing gets done, and I like to have like too much data than not enough. So that's just where I'm coming from. So on top of all of this, we're also writing down how the kids are doing in their trials. So activities that I like to do. You want to know who carries the team in my classroom or in my therapy room? pinkcatgames.com. It is a website that has like 4 free games. I'm honestly tempted to kind of pay for the advanced version that gives you like all the seasonal games.
Ooh, I didn't even know about that.
Oh yeah,
I actually just started using Pink Cat
use
Games.
it not too much. I used it a lot. I won't say too much. Not yet. I know it'll become a problem. This is the only thing I do all day, and it's not that yet. But
it's fun. Well, it's a good one, and it's a good therapy tool because there's a ton of preloaded stuff. So like other SLPs can go in and create card decks that have like if you're targeting like past tense ED, like regular past tense, you type that in, and then it pulls up a deck of like past tense ED
30
words.
Questions that are already kind of auto-populated. And then there are games that are associated with it. Oftentimes I'll just keep the questions to myself, and then we'll do another game at the table. So Pink Cat Games carries the team for me. I love Uno.
Me and Uno are on a break.
I know you're on a break from Uno right now.
This year, I got fed up with Uno because the kids love Uno. And that's another thing with like, I love to do what the students love to do. But at a certain point, I'm like, if I see another Uno card, I'm gonna lose it. And so I'll like hide it or just put it behind my desk and be like, that's not a choice today. We gotta pick something else.
Absolutely. I love Uno because I can do speech therapy with it, because I can do the rote tasks, but also if I'm doing like direct teaching and we are working on like fill in the blank or like really heavily structured things, it's a very turn-based. And so because of that, I can slip a question in real fast and like work on something in between turns of Uno. And so when I'm doing really structured therapy activities, that's what I like to do, or some type of board game. Guess Who? Carrying the team.
I love Guess Who. I love Guess Who.
I have your copy of the superhero Guess Who still.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And I think you might have my cards. I think we might have.
Yes, we did. We traded.
And when I tell you Guess Who and I am working on description words. I am working on asking questions. I'm working on answering questions. I'm working on negation. I'm
social
working
goals.
On social goals.
Turn-taking.
I'm working on so much with Guess Who. She carries my team so hard.
Synonyms and antonyms.
Oh
yeah.
Absolutely.
So good.
Following direction tasks. Like it is so good. So yeah, Guess Who.
Sequencing, giving directions.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, negation is the one that's like, I was like, I didn't even think about
that.
It's for Guess Who for negation, but like put down everybody except people with brown eyes. Like that's such a hard task.
That's a really hard cognitive.
So
love Guess Who.
Love Guess Who. I also love kind of more open-ended games. I will say I have carpet in my office, so kinetic sand is not my bestie right now.
I feel like you're vacuuming up kinetic sand like
3 times a week.
Yeah, at least.
Like, so your Uno is on a break, my kinetic sand's on a break.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, girl, she's on vacation. We're not doing that.
She's on vacation. Yeah.
Another one that's carrying the team right now, Beyblades.
Beyblades was a fun. So our vice principal brought in a ton of I think her kids are a little bit older. She brought in a ton of games from. They were just like cleaning out their basement, and I said.
And if there's one thing that I am, it's a resource raccoon. Like, I'm going through your trash. If you're getting rid of stuff, I'm looking through it.
When teachers retire and they put stuff outside of their classroom door, like I'm in there.
I'm looking for stuff.
I've gotten some really good stuff that way. Beyblades, got those. And those are like those little,
they're tops. They're tops
Yeah.
that come off a launcher. So first of all, problem solving skills. Because I have so many
True.
kids who like are trying to put it together. They're not. It's a self advocacy thing. Will you ask for help? Like if you're asking for help, will you not just throw it at me? Like things like that.
Or get angry.
Or get angry.
Yeah.
Working on very working through how to ask for help. I also love it for and this is crazy to say, I also love it to do some direct teaching because it's so hard for them to put those darn blades together that I can ask questions and then I will put the like tops together for you to watch them.
Your reward for paying attention is I put the top together for you and give it to you.
Yes. No, if I'm like doing like a drill style situation, I love Beyblades for that. It's also so fun to work on it's another one for verb tenses. It's spinning, it's stopped. Like it's working on those like first next last, that's a good one, or like those endings for what it's currently doing. Description, oh my gosh, they hit each other, they bounce, they're out of bounds, like oh my gosh.
Beyblades has been like a recent but very delightful addition.
Gosh, I feel so bad. Once again, if an admin walks past my room, they're like, there's an adult sitting on the floor right now playing with tops.
Playing with tops, literally.
And that is in fact what you were looking at. But there's a lot of therapy going on. And so
that was okay.
I had Pink Cat Games, Uno, Guess Who, Kinetic Sand, but she's on a break.
Beyblades.
And Beyblades. Those are my 5.
Okay, those are your 5. Nice. I think Guess Who is definitely in my top 5 for all of the reasons that you just said. It is so open-ended. And like you can, if you're a creative, you can do so much with it. And they do have different like versions of the game. So you mentioned my superhero Guess Who.
Yeah.
I got it at Target. It's got like a board that slides out of it, and on one side it's the Guess Who characters, but they're dressed as superheroes. And then you flip it over and it's the classic game.
The kids love it. I love it. The kids love it. It's so much fun.
And that one's good for your kids that are maybe like leveling up a little bit in their description. And then Guess Who? Shoots and Ladders.
Oh, I didn't even think about Shoots and Ladders.
Freaking love Shoots and Ladders.
If you want to talk about pragmatic skills, let me tell you, nothing talking about disappointment more than Shoots and Ladders.
Yes. And I love it because it is so simple. The only rule is there's like 3 rules. You like spin, you move that number of spaces, and then if you land at the base of a ladder, you go up. If you land at the top of a slide, you go down. And then you have to land exactly on 100. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot that you have to like mentally keep track of. So it's really good for students that are working on something else while they're doing this. So I can like ask questions because they're not having to pay attention to like a bunch of rules and like contingencies and stuff. It's a really simple game. Anyway, Shoots and Ladders, love. I think Candyland is similar, but I actually don't have Candyland at school.
Do I have Candyland? I might have Candyland.
I don't know. I need to get a copy of Candyland. Because I think it's like kind of in that same vein of like there's not a whole lot going on.
Not a lot of rules. Pretty like it's a no think game. Like
yes. Bingo. I have a vocab.
You play a lot of bingo.
I play a lot of bingo. Vocab bingo. It's made by one of those like speech therapy material companies by Super Duper, and it's old. Like it is an ancient. I think the copyright on it is like 1999. Like it is a really old game, but it is like still good because they're really basic things. Yeah. And this game in particular has 8 different like game boards. And then these little cards that have a little like rhyme riddle on them. So you can use that, or you can just use like, say like, okay, find the banana or whatever. And then it also has this container of like translucent, colorful chips. And I immediately poach those things.
Absolutely. It's now in every other activity
and use them for everything. The vocab bingo chips are always sitting out.
That's how I feel about the Chipper Chat magnetic ones.
The magnetic one. Yeah, that's a good one. What's another? Oh, I use SciShow Kids.
You do this a lot, and this is something I have tried to adopt more into my practice because it is so good. It's so good.
It's so good. It is from like I think Complexly or SciShow. I don't know if Complexly is like I don't know. It's a Hank Green creation,
yeah.
And I use it constantly. It's like scientific, like biology, space geology, that kind of thing, scientific concepts, but are very kid friendly and actually adhere to some like Common Core standards. And they have those listed in the description, which is really nice. But I love it because it's palatable and it's world knowledge. And a lot of our kids, because they have trouble understanding language, they have trouble understanding information and retaining it sometimes. So even just working on like you can't make an inference or comprehend a written passage if you don't have world knowledge.
Absolutely. If you have no idea, like if you have a passage about penguins and the goal is to inference about penguins, but you have no idea what a penguin is,
right?
Like you're not going to come to
or like you don't know that they live in Antarctica. You don't know that they can't fly. You don't know you don't know that they swim and eat fish. Like you don't know stuff about
they don't
penguins.
have knees.
What?
I don't think penguins have knees.
I didn't know that. See, and I learned from these a lot, actually. But yeah, I came across this issue last year. I was working with some kids we were reading some nonfiction passages about the national parks. Mm-hmm. And I remember asking like an inference question about like the number of birds that are like native to a national park or something. And the kid wasn't getting it. I kept like simplifying the question until it finally got just like, okay, they said there's 200 species of birds native to this park. Is that a lot or a little? And he goes, a little. And I was like, we don't even know enough about
you got to go back to birds
and like general biodiversity. I don't know. And so kids will surprise you all the sometimes, but then also like it'll be like, oh, I didn't realize that we're missing this piece of core knowledge. Like we need to go back and work on
and it happens in surprising places sometimes because there's been like speech sessions where like we were working on I can't remember what it was. Oh, we were working on the V sound.
Yeah.
And the target word was beaver, and the child had never seen a beaver, and they were like, "What is that?"
Yeah, exactly.
I said, let me tell you about this little woodland creature. Then, like, we took like a good 5-minute detour and to talk about what a beaver is and like where you'd find them.
And again, like kids are new here. Yeah, like, you have to like. They don't just know stuff. Like you have to tell them. And so I love SciShow Kids for that because you can target a ton of language things. And also not speech. For nothing. Oh, and also speech. Well, I was going to say not for nothing. Sometimes it's nice to have 6 minutes to just like, I put on the video and I'm like, watch this. And I'm going to sit here and also watch this video and not use my voice for 6 minutes.
Little break.
I like, it's nice. We're all absorbing. But yeah. Yeah. So that's 4.
Yes. 4. You have
Bubbles.
Oh, micro Bubbles. How did I forget about her?
Bubbles is everybody's favorite.
I need a new bubble gun.
It's a ray of sunshine
you have
on a cloudy day. Yes. Bubble machine, especially for our early communicators. And kids of all ages. Like I've had 4th and 5th graders be like, can I play with the bubbles? And I'm like, yes. Like they're still children. They're still, love,
and bubbles are so whimsical and so fun. Yes. And nobody's ever sad when there's bubbles around. So
no. Like, I have had some kids that are nervous by the machine, made nervous by the machine and the sound that it makes.
That makes fair.
But it is rare that I find a child that is like, get that bubble machine away from me. Like I hate that.
Bubbles.
Oh. That would be my 5th.
That's a good list.
Desert island list.
That's a good lineup of things.
Oh. And I use those to death. Like I've got some kids right now that
my bubble machine died. Like I have to get a new one now.
Some kids I'll put on a SciShow thing, like cue it up, and there's like a woman, her name is Jessie, who like hosts the show. Mm-hmm. And one of the students went, this lady again. And I was like, yeah, kid, I know. We're kidding. I'm like, I know you're well acquainted with SciShow Kids at this point, but yes, we are doing this again today. So
that's my best.
Because we're going to learn about the planets and we're going to make inferences about our solar system and learn more about our world. And it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. So, yeah. It's going to be great. Well, I love talking about therapy and like therapy activities. It's one of my favorite things when we all get together as SLPs is to like swap what we're doing. Swap ideas.
We have shared so many.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or like, I feel like if we have something new that we try and it goes really well, we'll like poke our head in and be like, hey, I just tried this.
And it went really well.
It went really well if you want to try it with some of your kids. Mm-hmm. Like mine loved it.
So so the too long didn't read version of this episode is that we play all day.
We play all day. We are thinking all day. And we are talking all day.
Yeah, that's a pretty good description. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like behavior management and like rapport building, we did talk quite a bit about, but that could be its own.
That could be its
like,
own. Honestly,
episode.
Should be its own.
That could be its own show. Like learning how to relate to kids and interact with them in a way that makes everybody feel respected and happy and safe.
That's a learned skill. Like for a
Yeah.
lot of people, interacting with children is not, that's something that comes naturally.
No.
And play doesn't come naturally to adults either. That was like, we'll talk about this in a later episode.
Teaching yourself how to play again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later because I have a good idea for that.
I know.
I'm talking about that. But yeah, we play, we think, we talk.
Yes.
That's all
we teach.
When we teach.
We're not teachers, but we do a lot of teaching.
We do a lot of teaching.
Yeah.
Ugh, I love this job, guys.
Me too.
It's so much fun. And like, I did have therapy nightmares last night because spring break is coming to a close and I can't escape a break without having at least one anxiety dream about going back to work. However, this episode talking about this has made me a lot more excited to go back to work.
Yes. So it does really remind me, like, it's the ancillary stuff about the job that stresses me out.
Oh yeah,
like, the actual therapy portion. I love.
No. Absolutely no. The therapy and the working with the kids part is the part that I love the most. Yeah, it's all the paperwork and adult interactions that I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, truly. But yeah, so we hope that kind of helped clear things up a little bit. If you ever wondered to yourself, what the heck do Maggie and Francie do all day? Or what the heck do SLPs even do? Hopefully that cleared it up a little bit. And that's kind of what it looks like.
So much fun.
But yeah. If there are other things, other topics that you would like to hear about, please let us know, either in person if you know us, or comment on YouTube or on our Instagram post or whatever.
DM.
Yeah, just let us know what you want to know about the job and what you want to hear about.
Absolutely.
And we'll do our best to demystify and answer for you.
Yay.
Right now you can find us on YouTube at Tell Me About It, an SLP podcast. We are also on Instagram at Tell Me About It SLP, and coming very soon, we promise, actually for real this time, we're going to be on Spotify.
One of these days.
One of these days.
Soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well,
until next time, we'll see you later.
We'll see you around.
All right. Bye.